My name is Gearmo and I recorded everything with the microphone disabled. I'm going to show you my MIDI controller collection today. I have way too many MIDI controllers and I never use them all at the same time, but it's nice to have options. So the first one is the NanoKontrol 2. I think this is sort of the big best overall bang for your buck if you're looking for portability. You have your faders, knobs. Um, there's different models. Let me bring up the other one. So I have the Control 2 in white as well, and then the NanoKontrol 1, which has like different scenes here where you can assign different MIDI channels additionally. Well, I think you can assign MIDI channels on the other ones, but you don't have the different scenes. All right. Next is the first version of the Novation LaunchKey Mini. There's not that much to say. It has a little keyboard. Unfortunately, the USB connection seems to be flimsy, and virtually every time it sort of disconnects itself after a couple of minutes. So it's not, in my case, it's not that reliable. So it's a bit of a pity because I actually quite like it. Next up is the Korg NanoKey Studio, which also has a keyboard, an XY pad, 8 knobs, drum pads, and it has Bluetooth, so it's pretty good. It's really good for using with an iPad. It has pretty LEDs under the keys. I like the feel of the keys, even though they're not your traditional piano keys, but I actually think this is like a brilliant solution. There are some features that I haven't used a lot. You can set some scales. There's an arpeggiator. Next, I have the Akai APC Mini. Yeah, it's your kind of Ableton grid, 64 buttons and some faders kind of controller. But I actually use it most of the time with my Axoloti. So this is an Axoloti without the case. I bought this separately and actually soldered it and assembled it myself as a DIY kit. Um, an Axoloti, I mean, imagine there was an Arduino that had, MIDI connectors and audio connectors built in. That's an Axoloti. And because it has an USB host, connector, and it's completely programmable. Think of Reactor. You have like a graphical programming environment. So it's graphical, but you can write C++ code at the same time. It's really brilliant. And yeah, so that sort of allows you to basically program any MIDI controller connected here and, be very specific of how you want it to behave. And obviously, I then have like these extra knobs plus the faders here. And if I want, I can have it function as a synthesizer on top of it or as an audio processor. So yeah, I have actually 2 of these cases and 5 Axolotis in total. Unfortunately, you can't buy them anymore. They're not being produced anymore. There's like some alternative projects coming up. I think I'll put some link in the description if for those who are interested. So what next? Let's see. The next one is actually my most recent purchase. It's from Etzy. It's a little, just a little MIDI controller with DIN MIDI, which is great. The only issue I have with it is that I expected these buttons to be suitable for finger drumming, but they're actually very hard to press. So I tried to open it and fiddle with it, and I broke one of the buttons, so only 7 are still working. You program it with OpenDeck via the web browser, so it's all like easy. What I really wish for was something in this with a similar size but better buttons and maybe even some little 1-octave keyboard. Yeah, that would be cool. Then there's the Behringer BCR 2000. Sorry, I can't fit it in the frame entirely. I think it's sort of a staple. So a lot of people, I think, have it or use it. This is sort of the sort of controller that you buy when you want to have as many potentiometers as possible. So these are all endless encoders, and as you can see, they have like these LED rings. So it's very easy to customize and assign your MIDI values and etc. And what is great, there's somebody who wrote a custom firmware. I think yes, there's a custom sequencer. It's called the Sequencer. I installed the demo version, but I didn't have like put in the time to really play with it. I think it's pretty cool. That came out, or that happened, I think, right before the BeatStep Pro. And actually, Behringer, they're planning to release like a smaller, newer version of this with the Sequencer built in, but it hasn't been released yet. I would probably immediately buy that. Not sure. Yeah, but this is pretty useful. I think it also comes with 2 MIDI outs. Yes. And yeah, I have actually 2 of these. You did notice that I had like stickers, written with written parameter names on it. And so the next thing I bought, I think, was the Novation Zero SL MK2. There was an MK1 that had 2 screens, and the new one, the MK2, has only 1. And I bought it because I wanted it to display the parameter names, so I don't have to attach stickers anymore. And yeah, I think this is not bad. It works. It has like some quirks. Really, it's mainly again about those drum pads. The pressure threshold is too high for my taste, so I never use those. And then it does have 8 endless encoders and 8 classical potentiometers here. And the endless encoders, they react to touch. So when you touch them, they will, the display will show what it is, what is assigned. But unfortunately, it's sometimes reacting, like even if I don't touch it or just get a little too close, it will activate a bit erratically, I would say. But yeah, it has a crossfader, it has 2 MIDI outs, you can power it via USB. So overall, it's pretty good. But then I was just browsing like a second-hand website for gear and stuff. I saw this, the Bitstream 3X. It has sort of very similar features as the previous Novation MIDI controller, but like some extra features, which I think make this the most feature-rich MIDI controller that I personally have ever owned. The previous owner maybe didn't treat it perfectly well, so you can see that these slider caps are a bit bent, and he had like stickers all over it. Anyway, so these additional features, besides just having more potentiometers, look at it, it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's this crossfader. It has save slots for the values, so you can actually sort of create synthesizer patches and store them. I think you have 100 slots. Yeah, so you can store configurations of the parameters and recall them. You can record automation. It does have an arpeggiator, which is sort of like a sequencer, which has like sort of rhythm patterns built into it. What else? And also an LFO feature for the MIDI parameters. And then it has this touch strip, it has a joystick. I'm not sure if it's supposed to snap back to the center. It doesn't on mine, but it works. I actually restrict all my PC music making to Linux. Most devices only come with editors for Windows or Mac. Same here, but somebody uploaded a GitHub script, a Python script that allows you to configure everything in a text file and push it easily. So yeah, I think this is sort of my favorite MIDI controller, or certainly I would consider it a hidden gem. As you can see, it also has 2 MIDI outs, one in and a through, and USB and some kind of expansion port. I think it's just like to connect if you have multiple units. But yeah, I think they're kind of hard to find and kind of rare. From Wave Idea, yeah. I think it's a French company. It seemed, at least it seemed that way. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this one. It's also like extremely heavy. I think it's about 4 kilos. And finally, also something it was an impulse buy on the second-hand market. It's the Livid Ohm 64. Um, there's nothing too special about it. You can basically grasp what it does. It just sends MIDI values, and it's probably designed for Ableton or Bitwig. So you have the fixed MIDI values as they are. So yeah, it's just kind of a nice layout, and it looks very inviting, I find, for sort of a DJ clip launching style of music performing. So yeah. So then here's the Korg PadKontrol sort of finger drumming device. It has a notoriously low threshold for the pads, so they feel nice. Having said that, I think I have sort of a permanent shoulder impingement or very weak tendons or something, so I have big gripes with any sort of pressure sensitive pads. Just in general, I like to actually avoid them. I might make a video about that separately. So even though the pads feel pretty nice, my shoulder and wrist start hurting after like playing it for 5 or 10 minutes. Anyway, I set it up mostly to be used with Renoise, which was pretty cool. Like in Renoise, you can program stuff in Lua and customize your MIDI stuff. What's peculiar is that these knobs, even though they have a range of 128 MIDI values, they only send every sort of second increment. So really, it's only like 64 values. That didn't bother me that much, but it's worth mentioning. Yeah, it has an XY pad as well. Yeah, and also MIDI in and out, but you can only use it when it's powered via a wall plug, not when it's powered via USB. My second gripe would be just that I wish it had more knobs. But yeah, generally it's fairly okay. So, like I said, I'm pretty frustrated with a lot of groove boxes that come with pressure sensitive pads that are extremely stiff and basically just for me not usable. And this is sort of the solution I eventually came across. This is the Midi Fighter 3D, which has sort of these arcade style buttons, and they just feel really good. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, and I sometimes use it. It has like 3 buttons on the sides. Everything is programmable. You have like 4 extra buttons here. It has an accelerometer. You can assign MIDI CCs to the X, Y, and I think even the Z value, like which is the rotating for each button separately. So that actually gives you like 16 by 3 different MIDI controllers. I find accelerometers a bit gimmicky, so I actually didn't really use this in real life yet, but it is kind of neat. Midi Fighter 3D approved. We're coming to an end. This is my small collection of MIDI controllers. Do you have any MIDI controllers that you like? I hope you like this video. Please come back. All right, bye-bye.